The first show I ever binged watched was the Game of Thrones. It just hit me one day to watch it. Never kept up with it before, but I've learned to follow my inner unctions, and so all 7 seasons I watched. It took me a week. From all the understanding I received from their battles over power, who would get which throne, who would be in command next, and their phenomenal eloquence of speech. It has sparked a whole book to discuss certain principles as it relates to the human condition. Wait for it, it's gonna be fire! But before we get started in this 7th installment of the 12 powers we have in the series brought to you by the Verity Prosperity Clarity Project, I want to welcome you here to this channel if you're just joining us. I am Chelsea, your Affluence Ambassador, and thanks again for watching. Today we will begin to understand power, how we can learn to feel powerful all the time, and how to use the I am within to move mountains, create new worlds, and bring forth our highest desires. Have you ever had those days when you felt like you were on top of the world, unstoppable and full of purpose? What about those days where you don't feel like even getting out of bed, even thinking, what's the use? Well, there's a reason why ancient texts say, let the weak say I'm strong. This statement epitomizes the cliche of speaking truth to power. I am is the actual name of God. When God first revealed himself to man, it was to Moses he said, tell him I am that I am sent you. So when you use I am tired, I am lonely, I am depressed, that's when you're using God's name in vain. Speaking of speaking truth, how often are you conscious of your communication style? Do you often lie, or do you tell the truth? Did you know when you speak, truthful declarations condense your intention with pure light energy, which increases their power as they enter this realm, while lies tend to scatter your energy? I heard it once said, lying and sarcasm confuses your angels. It is true that life and death is in the power of the tongue because we're made in the image of the Almighty who spoke everything into existence during those 6 days of creation. To get a metaphysical understanding of the days of creation, follow the hashtag on my Instagram and I break it all the way down for you. It's also important to note here that other ancient texts tell us that some people can be ensnared by the words of their mouth. And another tells us that the words that go forth out of my mouth shall not return unto me void, but they shall accomplish that which I intend for them to. So we can see here how words are vehicles of information. Information coming from within me and deposited into you, or what you're speaking to. The ganglionic center for power is where your voice vibrates at the throat, which is then projected through the mouth using the tongue as its sculpture. This is where thoughts and ideas take shape into specific containers of energy called words, metaphysically represented by the Apostle Philip. His name means lover of horses, but check out the synchronicity though. Don't we describe engines by horsepower? It's quite a coincidence, the above meeting the below, the spiritual realm intersecting with the material realm, that it is at our power center where creation begins, wouldn't you say? Another question to have you reflect on your communication style. You cuss? Do the curse words society deems as curse words just flow from your mouth like a river? Or are you aware of the actual verbiage you employ? Words are more than words. Words encapsulate the intention of your very essence and they go forth to create. For illustrative purposes, think of every word you use as a green bubble or a red bubble. A green bubble is for a good intention, and a red bubble is for a bad intention. Think of curse words as red bubbles, but there's a catch though. The S word and the F word that you're familiar with being bad, those aren't always red bubbles. They can even be green bubbles. When you stub your toe and say the S word, it's a red bubble. There's a hateful passion surrounding that word when you use it in that context. When it's sent forth, it muddies the waters of fruitfulness and happiness you're trying to create. But when you say, damn, that shit is fly, yo, that's a green bubble. That statement blesses. And let me pause right here and say, I know this may seem blasphemous to church goers, but you have to realize you are the church. So it's your emotions which determine how well your congregation is doing, otherwise known as the vibration of your cellular community. Emotional intelligence is not in many doctrines, which allows you to only get half the story. That's why I'm here. And I'll tell you another thing. While my TV watching has significantly decreased over the years, I still watch the news sometimes to see if we're facing a nuclear attack or not, so I can spend the last moments with my family. But between news segments, they got these things called commercials. The dominant society recognizes the power of words to program people, so now they have commercials for all kinds of pills, listing all kinds of problems they have with these diseases. This pill is supposed to cure that, but you gonna get this. And all these side effects. Don't worry if your leg fall off. Just call your doctor. What? So they not only fill you with ideas of the disease itself, but they're also filling you with the ideas of disease from the side effects. You know what I do? I put that TV on mute and speak back to that TV, popping all them little red bubbles. I be like, yeah, I'm sorry about your loss of health, lady, but I declare my body is running at an optimal level with perfect cell regeneration and perfect tissue regeneration. And I am healthy, happy, and whole. And if you think this is doing too much, you need to start at the beginning of this channel. For real. What remains consistent throughout all these lessons is the recognition of the ganglionic centers for each of these 12 powers, what's its color, and what apostle is represented there, and also the particular energy that it's responsible for. The transformation of spirit turning into flesh happens here at the nerve center in the throat. The throat chakra is responsible for communication. And see, this is how I know that God is handling this channel, because I was like, I wonder what I'd wear today. Oh, this is cute. Didn't even know I was going to speak about the throat chakra and how it is just all eyes on me. How cool is that? But anyway, the transformation of spirit turning into flesh happens here at this nerve center. The throat chakra is responsible for communication. It was at Cana of Galilee that Yeshua turned water into wine. Metaphysically, this miracle is accomplished when we in spirit realize that the union or the wedding of the fluid life of the body with the spiritual life here makes a new element, symbolized by the wine. When the chemistry of the body and the dynamics of the mind are united, a third element is brought forth. Subsequently, you are a new creature. And we saw in the Bible that wine was used in the context to keep the party going and the happiness rolling in. So we're supposed to be speaking good things into existence, not degrading each other or deprecating ourselves. Verbalizing ideas, words, and feelings on a consistent basis creates a story or a paradigm from which we live, inviting other similar ideas and experiences to us. Some of our thoughts need to be told sashay away, because they're not good seeds to sow towards our future or our legacies. That's why mantras are significant in the Hindu culture. You're repetitively speaking life unto yourself, affirming certain ideas to be manifested. I used to have 115 affirmations I spoke every day, but I decided to record them to a 528 hertz recording and have them play every night as I drifted into slumber and during the night. This way, these positive repetitions are seeping into my subconscious quicker and easier. You're repetitively speaking life unto yourself, affirming certain ideas to be manifested. I even dream about some of those things I hear. Conversely, you may stub your toe, then think the S word. Then you may feel like life is an endless cycle of pain. Then you think about your failure and all the shame surrounding your failures, and down where the spiral goes. But if you stub your toe and say,
don't be sorry, ho, be careful,
then that opens the mind to carefulness, which then decreases the odds of accidental pains in the future. Life is experienced through language. Listen up. Life is experienced through language, and a strong vocabulary makes you more perceptive. That's why it's important to know more than those 4-letter words. You're opening your mind to different realms of possibility. Knowing how to say what you have to say is extremely important, especially in this geo-socioeconomic climate we are currently in, where it seems words don't even matter anymore. All words matter. All words matter, and when you say certain words, they carry your intention, but they also vibrate at a certain frequency. Words cast spells and put you in a trance, hence translation. Take for instance mourning and mourning. You awake in the so-called morning, but isn't awake a funeral party for the dead? So is there really a thing called good morning in the first place? Trick question. Yes, there is. Because when you're letting go of a bad habit, because that bad habit was enjoyable for a time, but for the sake of self-improvement, saying goodbye can be sorrowful initially. But the European influence in our society, some have referred to it as the dominant society, has developed a spin-off of that word, removing the letter U, and it's customary now to use it as a greeting to one another before noon. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. So why would I be in mourning when I arise to a brand new start of my life? And why would I speak into you sorrow at the top of the day like that? Does it bother anybody that Lucifer was the son of the morning? So instead I'll say good day, or I'll complete that task after sunrise or dawn, because I don't want to program my cells with depressive energy. And I'm not finna say hello to you because I don't wish hell for your cells. Take the word weak and weak. Previously I quoted the prophet Joel with the directive for the weak to say I'm strong. So have you ever questioned why the European influence in our society has us calling a set of 7 days a week? Let's look at earn and earn. We earn a living during the week. But an urn is where we put the dust of the dead. This one statement has fathoms of depth to it, and we'll get into that economic and politically charged resonance of it in later videos. I dropped some bombs about it in the last video, but watch it only if you really want to be fully woke. It's imperative that we start using higher vibrational utterances if we expect the landscape of our lives to improve. Within our Affluence Alliance, our subscribers learn new words to employ in place of others, as well as accompanying meditations, as well as the breakdown of how and why the government calls your name on the mail you receive. Words, spellings, capital letters versus non-capital letters all have significance in the spiritual and physical realms, but we weren't taught how heavy the spells are in our lives and how deep our trance really is. And finally, take the word intuition. Tuition is what we paid the college of our choice to become educated for society. Intuition will pay you if you tune into the frequency it's constantly emitting. Wi-Fi plus Google is truly a wonderful match, but you plus the universe is cosmic ecstasy. And even using the word meditation. Why is there only one letter difference in the English language between medication and meditation? Just the C and the T are switched. Makes you wonder who's behind the scenes controlling our laws, our educational system, and other mechanics of our cities. I heard Tony Robbins say that our lives are only as good as the communication we have with people. Think of those people who know how to speak English, French, German, and Spanish. They can literally go anywhere in the world. And when you display an aptitude for rephrasing and structuring sentences in ways where it blesses and nurtures the hearer, the other person as well as yourself, but there's really only yourself, we'll discuss that in a second, then doors will open for you that you'd never thought possible. We discussed the metaphysics and mysticism behind how life and death is in the power of the tongue. I wanted to add another layer to it according to what I alluded to earlier. Your subconscious mind receives all words you hear, and all the words you speak, whether they are judged good or bad, whether they come as green bubbles or red bubbles. We are all one, so even though I may be speaking to John, I'm speaking to me. The subconscious knows no difference. We are all fragments of one divine mind. It is in this one mind that we all live and move and have our very being. We are more connected than we truly realize. Our words can either create bridges or destroy communities. There is so much I want to say since language creates worlds in which we find ourselves, but for the sake of time, guard the gates of your soul. The gates, the gates, the gates. Calling things that are not as though they were affects your internal and external atmospheres. It's like calling down heaven or hell. I have a saying, I don't lie, I create. And complaints just create more things to complain about. And because those words, those vibrations are programming the cells of your body, next time it's going to be a little easier to complain. However, if you were to replace complaints with gratitude, you'd see a huge shift in your world. Go ahead, give it a try. Try speaking into your life 5 things you're grateful for right now. Pause the video. I'll wait. You back? How'd that feel? Aren't you excited about more things to become grateful for? Now, take this practice into every morning. At the dawning of each day, repeat this process daily. Just try it for a week. Every new day. The sun will be brighter, the flowers will smell nicer, the birds chirp that once got on your nerves will be the source of new inspiration. I promise, just try it. We've devoted this message towards the esoteric meaning of life and death being in the power of the tongue, but it's of equal importance to realize physically your tongue has certain lusts of your diet. That candy, when eaten, releases dopamine in the brain, but too much of it creates inflammation in the body, and too much too long creates diabetes and certain cancers. What you eat also determines how you feel too. We don't eat just to watch our caloric intake. When we eat, that food is processed in the mouth, processed more in the stomach. Then that processed food sends information to our cells. We are what we eat. We're wearing yesterday's food. We program our body's desires based on what we feed it. The mind is stronger than the body, but many of us claim we have an addictive personality which empowers the lusts of the flesh. Take that line phrase out your speech today. We need to watch what we speak and what we eat, because both are affecting our body, our minds, our moods, as well as the collective consciousness as a whole. Who are you being in the world? What would your body say about its experience of you? It has its own intelligence, because when you ingest poison, it doesn't consult your brain to throw up. It just happens. You can get an idea of what your body would say about you based on how you feel. Life is a reflection of your inner world, so if you're fatigued, depressed, distracted, anxious, or angry, watch what's going in and out of your mouth. You'll be surprised at what you see when you hold yourself accountable. Now, if you've tuned into any of the previous videos here, you're aware that each of these videos is accompanied by specific regenerative exercises to accelerate the activation of these powers within your mind. Over a 21-day period, these meditations and exercises will help you achieve results within all facets of your life, including your vocation, all your relations, your vibration, and your recreation. For those within my Affluence Alliance, many have been reprogramming their subconscious minds, and I applaud them. It is an effort to which you must dedicate yourself, and I've designed this program for you to capitalize on how the soul works within this realm of existence. If you would like to participate in the Prosperity Clarity University over the next 21 days, you can subscribe on my website. Each class is an investment of only $47. There's 12 months and there's 12 powers, so there's no long-term commitment, and you can go at your own pace. Just remember, after you plant a seed, the tree doesn't sprout in one summer. However, your consistent dedication is what will make the difference in your results. If you would prefer a reduced rate of 35% off, you may choose to select the option of a one-time investment of only $367 for the entire year. Considering that's about $1 a day to change your life, this opportunity cannot be ignored. I'd definitely take me up on this offer. You deserve the best, so don't choose to stress. I'll see you on the other side where prosperity, love, and happiness reside, and I will see you on our next video entitled Imagination.